Hey Siri, close all the blinds.
You got it.
You guys see that? All the blinds are closing at the same time, and I didn't even have to go to all the windows. Stay tuned, I'm gonna show you how I did it. Let's go.
All right guys, we're gonna do some nice home automation upgrades today with the new Sunsa Smart Wands. Super stoked about this. I've got 26 of these bad boys. We're gonna be putting at every window in the house, front and back. So stay tuned for the install. We'll do a full review once they're deployed. I'll show you how easy it is to install them, how you get everything configured the way I'm doing it using the Apple's HomeKit. So we use the 𝗙𝗔𝗩𝗜𝗚𝗚𝗏 app. They've got a plugin specifically for this, so I can bring it all into the HomeKit ecosystem. So stay tuned. Hey guys, just wanted to do a quick unboxing to show you exactly what comes in the Sunsa Smart Wand box. Pretty straightforward here. Do this with one hand. Okay, so essentially you get the nice little card that gives you the warranty, some social links to follow the Sunsa homes. I need to go tag them in some of my posts. You also get the wand itself, which is wrapped in a nice sleeve to keep it protected. You get your instructions, the quick start guide, and then underneath these styrofoam inserts, you've got your mounting tabs, you've got 4 AA batteries it comes with, and then you also have an assortment of different attachments depending on your particular blind type. And for me personally, with our blinds, I'll show you, well, I drop it here. So essentially what we do is we swap over to this guy, the loop, and that hooks right on our blinds. And they make this really, really simple to adjust. So if you look at the tip, so it's got a Phillips head screw right there that you simply pop out. That cap comes off and you put it on with whatever type of attachment you need. And then once you slide in the mount, which I'll show you here in just a minute, you basically turn this halfway and that locks it into the track so it can't come out. And basically this is the smarts of what allows this to work, is it keeps this stationary and the motor spins this inside the sleeve. So super clever design. So let's go install one on a window. All right guys, just wanted to try to record real briefly how easy this is to install these Sunsa Smart Wands. So you can see that I've got it already suspended from the window. And this is the little guy that double 3M tape up to your blind. And essentially all you do is anchor this right beside the mechanism. So if I can do this with one hand, you push this through here, it'll click, then you spin this around to lock it in the track like you see there. And then really all I do is get it right beside the mechanism, make sure the wand is hanging straight down, get it up there, and then give it a nice firm press to seal that double-sided tape, that 3M tape, and that's it. It's installed. Now you just go through the process of adding it into the app and doing the configuration. So there is a very nice quick start guide that shows you exactly how to measure this out if you want to use a pencil and make your marks on exactly where you want to stick this. But from my experience, the installation is so incredibly painless, you don't really even need to do that. So super awesome install. And it looks very, very close to OEM. I mean, it literally looks like this could be your typical spin wand.
All right, guys, if you're still with me at this point, I wanted to go through real quick exactly what the app experience will be like when it's time to add the Smart Wand into the Sunsa app. So I've done a pre-recording on the iPhone in my case, just to walk you through exactly what it looks like. So you'll see I've already added some to the app itself. So to get started adding one, you simply click the plus in the top right-hand corner. And one thing I want to point out at this stage, this initial guide is an A to Z installation guide. It's almost like a quick start guide that gives you details about best practices for actually installing the little arm that keeps it locked in place. It'll go through the unboxing and show you all the pieces that are included in the box. So definitely go through this the initial time, the very first time you add one into the app. However, if you'll also notice, they do provide you a nice skip option. This is critical if you're going to do more than one of these, because you certainly don't want to watch this every single time if you've got a lot of these to deploy. So do feel free to hit skip after you've gone through it the first time. So what does it look like? So essentially, it's going to walk you through everything in the box, how to do the installation, all the different spindle types, the adapter tips, everything. And I've already kind of went through this in the unboxing video, so we're going to kind of roll this quick in effort to keep this video as short as possible. But go through it once, take a look at everything. They do give you some pointers on how to do the install and make sure there's no binding when it spins. So make sure that it's hanging freely and you're not putting it at weird angles, because I did have one of those issues where it was a little off center, and if it's like that, sometimes when it spins, it'll create a bind up there with the window. So my advice to you is get it hung, the actual smart wand, let it hang freely, and then figure out where you need to position the arm and lock it in with that 3M tape. So now at this point, what we're going to do is actually add a smart wand into the app. It does leverage Bluetooth, and it will send your Wi-Fi credentials that you plug in via Bluetooth directly to the smart wand. And from that point going forward, the smart wands connect to your Wi-Fi network. Now, one of the things I want to point out at this stage is, number one, if you have the ability and you know how to do it, I would suggest setting up a dedicated SSID for all of your Internet of Things devices to keep those separate from your typical Wi-Fi traffic. Not a requirement, just a personal recommendation. The second step is, whenever you get to the naming part of this, be sure to be descriptive here, because you will need to know exactly where these blinds are, or the wands on the blinds. So something like dining room or master bedroom right window or something like this. Now in this case, you can see you can give it the Wi-Fi credentials like I talked about earlier. It will join the Wi-Fi network and then come back with calibration. After you give it a name, the final step before you actually add it into the app is to select the blind type and then calibrate it. Now, for me, the calibration could not be more important to the success of this project. And let me just pause right here on the calibration side. So, pro tip, before you install any smart wand, open your blinds completely to the middle. That'll shorten this overall process, because basically what you have to do with the calibration is start with them completely open. You have to cycle them closed going up. Then you have to cycle them back to open, save that position, and then you repeat that process but closing them down. So you have to go up, center, down, center. So if you don't start at center, you have to use this app to get them to center, because you can't spin the smart wand. That defeats the purpose, right? So start with them in the middle. And the other thing I want to point out is, notice you've got the little circle arrows. The two on the outer edge are larger than the center ones. And that's simply saying the range of motion that tapping on each one of these arrows will give you. The larger arrows, you get a larger range of motion before it stops and asks you, are they fully open or closed? The two in the middle are more micro adjustments. So when you get close to the end or close to the middle, so when you first start doing the calibration, go ahead and hit the large arrows, and it'll go in little stages. And you'll notice if I play the video, you tap it, it'll wait for a device for a moment, come back and prompt you here again. Now notice what it's asking you at the very bottom. It's saying, yes, blinds are fully opened. So in this case of the calibration, we're trying to get them exactly open. That's why I say, if you start with them already open, you can simply tap that button to begin with. But scrubbing ahead due to time, I just want to show you that basically we're going through the motions here. It's going to go through and do all of what I just described. So you're going to go up, back to center, down, back to center. And every time you make one of those small arrow taps, it's going to pop back and ask you for confirmation. Was this fully open? Did this fully close? And this is part of the calibration process, so that when you automate these blinds and you tell it to open or you tell it to close, it's actually going to go to the full range of motion that it needs to. And, you know, I've seen this personally in our house doing this calibration. No two blinds are going to be the same. You may have two blinds that are going to take, if you still had your typical rods connected, more times if you measured it to open than the next blind. So that's why this calibration is absolutely critical. Now, the app is very polished. You do have a lot of capabilities with the app. You can group these into rooms. You can set up automation schedules, or if you prefer, you can use your home automation technology of choice, like mine is Apple HomeKit, Google Home, and Amazon Alexa. So let's go on to the next step. Okay guys, just wanted to do a full review now that these are actually fully deployed and installed, and apologies about the echo. I'm gonna try to fix it in editing, but I'm in my dining room and it's super echoey in here. So basically what we've got are the Sunsa Smart Wand, and this is a very, very nice design in my opinion, because when we were looking at, automating the house, really just going into the smart home world, lights and blinds were at the very top, because you can imagine how many windows you've got in a house, all of which have blinds, and it makes an incredible difference if you open the blinds during the day. Probably goes without saying, but if you had to walk around to every single window in the house every day, morning and evening, to open and close it, that gets old very quick, especially when you got kids and you got other things going on. So this is a really, really simple way to do that. Now, I shopped around a couple different potential options. I know Serena Smart Shades has a really, really great option. There's other like SwitchBot options on the market and other similar tech, but the problem I kept seeing with those is a lot of them would have a cable that would hang off of this OEM either hook that twists and would come over, and then would have to mount this big gaudy box like somewhere on the window sill, either on the external side, or you might be able to squeeze it behind the blind, but then you're going to see it from the road, which is equally as gaudy in my opinion. Some of them come with solar panels, and that's a great option in theory, but then again, you're stuck with that panel that you've got to get sunlight to. So where's that going to go? On the opposite side where you can see it from outside, trying to get a little bit of sun. And I've had mixed results with solar panels, so I genuinely feel like the battery approach is probably the best, certainly if you're in a home without any wiring. Now, if you've got the luxury of building a home and you can wire literally every single window with thin gauge wire to be able to power some blinds, that's great, but that's not that common. So really the battery power is the way to go. So these take 4 AA batteries that go in through the bottom. And really, it's a real sleek design. There's not really a lot going on. And at first glance, if you were to walk in somebody's house, so there's 3 of them, you really can't tell that these aren't the original twist rods that came with the blind. So it's a really simple design, super smart though. So when I came across these, it was an immediate no-brainer for me. So essentially the way they connect, if you kind of look up behind this little cover flap, you've got really just a piece of 3M two-sided tape on one of these little arms that will stick onto the blind itself. And then right here, this is a little twist lock piece that is fixed to the Sunsa Smart Wand. It comes through this track and you simply twist it. And if you can see, I don't know if this will focus properly, but it will lock on these tracks right there. So it's basically a mechanism to lock it in place. And the brilliance behind this is all the weight of, the motor, the batteries, all that's being supported right here by the hook. So really all this is doing is keeping it from twisting when the little servo motor inside is spinning. So this 3M tape actually works really good. It doesn't really have to be super adhesive where it's holding up the whole weight of the wand and everything. It's literally just holding in place to keep that spinning motion locked so the motor can do its job at the top. So there's not a lot to these. Now, the other thing that I have been told that they're working on, it's on the back side. So you have a couple of sensors. You can probably barely make them out right there. So there's going to be a light and a temperature sensor that they're going to unlock with later firmware updates, because these are still fairly new to the market. So as you can imagine, with temperature sensors on each wand as well as light sensors, that's just going to further your home automation capabilities to either open when they detect light, peering through the blinds, or close when it gets dark using their light sensors. as well as detect the temperature. And I think the temperature is going to be really critical in the dead heat of summer. Let's say on the second story, if those temperature sensors started reading, 100, 115 at the window, they could automatically close to keep your upstairs cooler. So really intelligent, capabilities with automating your blinds. For me, I've done all this in Apple's HomeKit, and I believe the manufacturer states that these will work with Google Home and Alexa, and those are certainly common. But when we moved here, it was 100% HomeKit all the way. So what I do is 𝗡𝗔𝗩𝗜𝗚𝗏, which is an application that allows tons of devices to work with Apple HomeKit. So they have a plugin specifically for Sunsa, works great. You plug it in, it automatically picks up any new smart wands that you add into the app. You just simply restart the app itself, the 𝗡𝗔𝗩𝗜𝗓𝗏 app, and it'll pick those up. And you can build all kinds of automations in HomeKit. So as you've seen with a couple of my examples, you can literally just tell Siri to do exactly what you want to do. Now, what I find, even further that's super beneficial is with the Apple HomePod minis, you can plug those into each room of your house or the rooms that you care about, and they know where they are in the home app. So in other words, if I'm in my son's room, Dylan, and I tell Siri to close the blinds, it will only close the blinds in his room because it knows that's where I am physically in the house. Or you can specify all, the blinds, or you can speak the name of the room. So lots of capability, with home automation here. And if you're on your phone and you ask that, because it doesn't know based on your phone, it will prompt you for which room you're talking about. So again, super intelligent, build home automations around it. I've got mine coming, open with the sunrise and closing, right at sunset. So super nice solution. I'm going to roll some unboxing footage that I took. So very nice packaging. It's packaged securely. It also comes with 4 AA batteries, which is not that big of a deal if you only order one. But if you're ordering these, for the whole house, having those batteries included in the package is actually pretty good. And a small, plug for them, plenty of manufacturers would go discount batteries and just get off-brand or no-name batteries. They did include Energizer batteries, so you can debate whether Energizer, Duracell, whatever, but at least they're name brand batteries, so that's definitely a plus, and those are included. The other thing that I'll share is they do include different tips. So I've got right now, mine are on the loop, so it's literally a loop on the wand because I have a hook right here on the actual blind itself. But they do come pre-installed with the hook, not the loop, but it's simply a small screw, Phillips head, that you can pop out and put in whatever type of head that you need. I don't believe these currently work with your plantation blinds or corded blinds. So basically if you open or close them with a string, they don't have the ability to work with those right now, but certainly with any of the rod-based blinds, whether they don't have to have a cord for the open and close of the entire blind going vertical, but to actually open and close, it must have a spinning mechanism for them to be able to work right now. So it won't work for every single blind out there, but guys, if you've got these blinds, they have been awesome to work with. They've been awesome to install. So I wish there was some more cool footage I could show you guys, but I've shown you outside. I've got one of these on every window of the house. And just as another quick example, so we're in the dining room. Hey Siri, open the blinds in the dining room. And there you go. So super simple. And I had to say dining room because I'm on my iPhone, so it doesn't know what room we're in, and I don't have a HomePod mini in the dining room. So again, very, very cool setup. As far as loudness, I'm trying to get a decibel reading I want to throw in here just to show you guys. And this is with 2 opening in tandem or in parallel. They're not loud, but they are servo motors. So you're going to hear them when they open and close. And, from my experience, it typically takes around 7 to 10 seconds, I would say, per blind to open fully and go back to the closed position, whether that's vertical or going up or down. So it's certainly acceptable because you're going to hear it no matter what you go with, and it's only once or twice during the day, so it's not a huge deal whatsoever. Certainly wouldn't be enough to wake anybody up, at least in my opinion. So Could not recommend these more. You know, I had a really great experience with, I believe, the founder, Adam, I think his name is. Super responsive to communication. I was asking a couple questions about these. You know, I actually, you know, got a batch of them sent to me, and there was one that had a faulty part through no fault of the company. It was just an error during manufacturing. They were super quick to get me a replacement out, you know, no questions asked. So thus far, working with the company as well as the product has been top notch. I must say too, this is not a paid review. I 100% paid for these myself. Thoroughly believe in the product, and I would highly recommend them to anybody looking to automate their home. So thanks so much for stopping by the channel, guys. It's been a hot minute since I've posted a video, so hopefully for those of you smart home enthusiasts out there, this will be something that you can add during your next project. Stay tuned, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video if you found it informative, and we'll see you on the next one.